The White House is announcing, this is breaking news right now, that President Trump will brief the nation this evening at 5 p.m. Eastern in the Rose Garden on coronavirus testing and safely reopening America. His White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, just tweeting that moments ago, and then Fox News talking with sources that there have been talks about paring back the task force briefings amid criticism over some of the president's recent comments. The president tweeted this: "What is the purpose of having White House news conferences when the mainstream media asks nothing but hostile questions and then refuses to report the truth or facts accurately? Not worth the time and effort!" Exclamation point. Also this, Axios is reporting the White House will shift its messaging toward boosting the economy and highlighting businesses' success stories. Power Panel slides in now. Leslie Marshall, nationally syndicated talk show host, David Webb, host of Reality Check with David Webb on Fox Nation. Both are Fox News contributors. David, I'm going to start with you in this breaking news that we're going to see the president at 5 p.m. Eastern specifically on testing and the importance of boosting that for states as many of them are trying to reopen. Your reaction?
Well, it's expected. They're going to continue some of the briefings. Look, I'm not against paring them back because we see what turns into a media circus with the types of questions, the half-hearted reporting, or actually the omission of facts and context in the reporting. And I think after a while, the American people, to be fair, may get it a little bit baked in. And if it goes too long, our attention spans aren't that. They are important. It is important to hear from the president and the task force. I think there will be some adjustments, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
All right. I specifically wanted to ask, and Leslie, I'll ask you about this idea with testing. I mean, this is something that news conference after news conference reporters have asked. I've asked on this very program, if we're going to reopen, how do we support the states with testing? And now the president is coming forth at 5 p.m. Eastern, and he's going to say exactly how they're going to do that. That's been a big issue.
It's definitely a big issue. It's a great question to ask that you've asked, Harrison, why so many people are asking. Look, there are individuals out there here in Los Angeles, in my community and online, and I hear people saying, I'm tired of sheltering in place, but I'm fearful of going out because what is the plan? What about this testing? Because we're hearing from the medical professionals that a lot of it surrounds testing and the information that we obtain from that. I think it's essential that the president address the nation on these and other questions because the nation looks to the leader, and he is our leader right now. They look to the leader for this guidance and, quite frankly, for some comfort to say, we're going to get through this, and this is how. And I certainly hope we're going to hear that today.
And to find out if what some governors, like the governor of Alaska has said to me this hour, if what some governors are saying, you know, and even Governor Cuomo here on the East Coast in New York has said so many more people may have had this, our recovery zone may actually be healthier. I'm paraphrasing, but that might be an adequate way to put it, that recovery zone might be healthier than what we know, and that would be a good thing to find all that out. But nevertheless, we need to know if there are hot spots and pockets. So this is something that the president had to be asked about, or had been asked about, and now he's going to answer at 5 p.m. Eastern. Meanwhile, some of Joe Biden's supporters have sounded the alarm on President Trump's vast financial advantage. According to The Hill, Biden's allies are concerned that the former vice president's campaign will not be able to compete with President Trump's fundraising juggernaut. Recent numbers show the Trump campaign and the RNC have a whopping advantage of $280 million over the Biden campaign, and the DNC doubling what the Democrats have raised. David, this is a tough haul at any point, but especially right now when a lot of people aren't focused on what they're going to give, particularly in small donations, medium-sized donations. They're focused on a pandemic right now. How does Joe Biden survive this financially?
Well, look, I don't know how he survives it, but I'll tell you his big challenge started long before this because, Harris, you had a fractured Democrat primary between the wings of the party, and they haven't come to the table. The major donors, and I know some of these donors, have not put their money on the table for the Democrats. So all the grassroots effort is not going to get them through the big push. In this era where virtual campaigning and maybe as states reopen, we'll see them do more publicly and maybe out there with people, they may have a shot. But I don't think Biden can overcome the numbers because of the lack of trust and the lack of faith in him as a candidate.
Mm-hmm. You know, Leslie, I've heard you say time and time again, well, it's not about the money, it's about other things. Right now, if you're behind $280 million, it's going to feel like it's about the money.
Well, there are certain realities, Harris, that you're going to have some money. He's not going to be able to catch up to the money that Donald Trump has. I mean, that is a reality. We are in a pandemic. There are big corporate donors out there who are closing their checkbooks because of what's going on and because of Wall Street, and also because of what's going on in their own companies, big and large companies, and big and large donors as well. But Joe Biden does need, because there's so many people home watching television, to get money out there and use that money to be on television, because the president is on television every day. However, he doesn't have to equal what the president has to win. Donald Trump didn't in 2016 have the most money. He won. He's the president. He's in the White House, and Joe Biden could do the same in November.
But there's a marked
you know
difference, Leslie, between 2016 and now, and the kind of persona that needs to get out there. And Joe Biden competing with Donald Trump, 1-to-1 on that. He needs the money because he cannot compete on the persona versus the incumbency.
Okay. You know, the other point I was going to make is Donald Trump candidate, Donald Trump the president, still had so much of the airwaves and so much of the social media time that Joe Biden will now have to try to catch up with. Good to see you both. Thank you for joining me.